Hi, I'm James Nave,
I'm Allegra Houston.
and thank you for tuning in to the Imaginative Storm Writing Prompt of the Week session.
Every Saturday, we meet with a group of people on Zoom. Whoever wants to join us, perhaps one Saturday, that will be you. It's free. You'll find the link at imaginativestorm.com. Anyway, we meet with our group. We offer them a writing prompt, usually either an image or an audio, although today it was a video. And in the 2 minutes while we play the prompt, we ask them to generate a list of words.
And like our group today, we'd like for you to do exactly the same thing. So what we'll do now is play the video for you and get ready with your paper and your pencil. And when you view the video, relax and something will pop out, a word. And jot that word down and then jot the next one and the next one and the next one. And just keep jotting words down until the 2 minutes ends.
You don't have to, the words don't have to have anything to do with the video or anything to do with one another. Just a random list of words is what we're after. And you will find the link to the video in the description. So just put us on pause while you watch it, and we'll see you in a moment. So as you may have seen, that was Leon Theremin, who invented an instrument called the theremin, which to my knowledge is the only instrument that you play without even touching.
So after folks finish the 2-minute list generation session, we go around the Zoom room and ask everybody to give us one word from their list. So what we'd like to do now is share the words from the morning session that we now have on our community list, and you will then have them too. So Allegra's now going to read those words for you.
Black tie, impossible, coil, precision, concentration, timeless, eerie, thin lips, gray on gray, web, rider, musical, bee, buzzing, head tilt, alien, air violin, wordless, language, dapper, mesmerize, frequency, queen bee, wailing, night, illusion, contracture, ghostly, humming, Spanish, fake guitar, tremoring, fingers, frenetic, melancholy. So you may have noticed that I spelled whaling like hunting a whale. It could equally well have been wailing, like, a woman wailing for her demon lover from Kubla Khan. So take it however you like. In the piece I wrote, I ended up using the word harpoon because I got that from whaling, and somebody else talked about whaling, and then other people in their piece used whaling. So either way is fine. You never know. When you throw like totally weird, unrelated stuff in, like whaling, interesting things come out.
And another thing you might notice if you take a look at the list of words that Allegra just read, as well as the list of words you generated, the words stand alone. And yet if you put the words together in any fashion you like, your imagination will create some kind of image for you. For example, I just
Web Rider, that was one I just
right
hopped
now,
out to me immediately.
My thin lips, gray on gray, left me buzzing in the head tilt alien air violin wordless language. I'm just letting my eyes roll over the words and coming up with something. It could be gibberish, it could be nonsense, or it could be something nobody's ever heard that makes a lot of sense to everybody.
The eerie tremoring of his fingers
left him feeling a bit ghostly in the fake guitar melancholy of his dreams.
Just pull stuff out.
Pull stuff out, you'd be surprised at how fast it happens and how easy it is and how much fun it
and it
really
doesn't
is.
matter if it's nonsense.
No,
this is the thing.
Clearly.
Our critical mind is very quick to go, oh, that's nonsense, that's ridiculous, that's a waste of time. But actually, when you let your imagination, when you give it the free rein to generate nonsense, it has fun. And quite soon you'll find that in among the nonsense are little phrases that you think, ooh, I actually kind of like that. I might use that in something. But you're not going to come up with those phrases unless you allow the nonsense to kind of lift them up like a sort of, I don't know, air current or something.
So, as we lift up, we've now arrived at the time when you have an opportunity to take 10 minutes and play around with your imaginative storm in any fashion you want. So, what we would like for you to do now is to relax and get ready to do your 10-minute timed writing, and you can use both lists, the list that you have plus the community list that we've offered to you, and you can start with one word. I'm looking at the list now. Eerie might be the word you start with, and that's the only word you use from both lists, and you can build something from that, or you can use any of the words in any combination you please.
As many words as you like, or as few words as you like. You can use none of the words if you just want to write about Mr. Theremin playing the theremin, as in fact one person on our call did, although I think she did use a few of the words. But usually people don't write specifically about the actual prompt that we've offered. But she was really enjoying herself, and she kind of put it in a different sort of scenario, but it was about Mr. Theremin playing the theremin.
So keep in mind the playfulness of these imaginative leaps, and just relax and write as much or as little as you please in the next 10 minutes. Let your imaginative mind lead the dance with your
Rational mind.
There you go. 10 minutes begins now. If what you wrote pleases you, we would appreciate it if you posted it on our Imaginative Storm Circle community. Many people on the Saturday morning call show up a little bit of time later, and they post their written work on the community circle, and then we're able to interact with it, get to know everybody a little bit better. We'd like to get to know you that way as well. And Allegra, I think you have some instructions on how to do that.
I do. So when you go to imaginativestorm.com, you'll see the Zoom link for the Saturday morning writing prompt of the week here and also here. And if you continue to scroll down, you will find Join Us on Circle. Click that link. And when you get there for the first time, you will find a thing sort of appear in the top right saying join or log in or something like that. I can't remember. So you can log in with your Google or Facebook ID or create a new ID and password. It's free. And when you've done that, it will look like this. So here are 4 spaces that explain to you kind of what we're about and what we're doing here on the circle. And over on the left, you will see this area, share your writing. And here is prompt of the week. Click on that. And you will see all the prompts of the week since we first started doing this in order from most recent at the top. So when you get there, the most recent prompt will be posted. We have it posted by the end of the day on Saturday. And when you click on it, you'll see the prompt itself, the community list, and then whatever pieces of writing the other people who've done the prompt have posted. And those are comments attached to the post. So if you scroll down to the bottom, like so, you will get to a place where it's inviting you to make a comment. And that's where you can type out what you wrote to the prompt. I don't know if you noticed as I was scrolling through, there was one person here who actually recorded a selfie video of herself reading what she wrote, and she posted that. So feel free to do that if you would like to do that. When you've posted a comment, other people can hit like or hit reply if they want to comment specifically and say, what in the piece popped for them. Feel free to add those, those comments, those moments of praise for what other people have written. We ask you not to be critical because, as you know, these are pieces that are only written in 10 minutes. So criticism, negative criticism is really, just not relevant. What we want to know as writers is what we've created that has energy, what pops for you as a reader, what do you find surprising and intriguing? So if you have that response to a piece of somebody else's that you read here, please do hit reply and let them know. Also over here, you will see a space to post for the daily prompts that we put on social media. And here, One Last Lunch. I won't tell you much about it other than that it's a book that I contributed to. And I think it's one of the most interesting writing prompts ever devised. So I do encourage you to try that out as well.
So once again, thank you for posting on the circle. We look forward to reading your work. And we also have some other things that we do and that we offer. And Allegra, you said you'd like to talk about our writing sessions, our workshops.
So we'll tell you about our Imaginative Storm Writer Training single sessions. The writer training itself is an intensive of 11 sessions, sort of 10 plus finale, and is soon to be a book, which we are currently hopefully bringing toward the finish line. But meanwhile, we have decided to offer some single sessions. They're going to be 3 hours long. As we record this in March 2022, we have 5 coming up, 2 in April, 2 in June, and 1 in early August, I think. But you will find the information about that at imaginativestorm.com, the dates and times. The first one is going to be on memoir, writing your memoir, and techniques for finding the story and making it authentic, original, true, emotionally true. Then we will have a session on character, which is relevant for both fiction and nonfiction, and setting, also relevant for both fiction and nonfiction. And then we will have 2 sessions based on a couple of the books that we wrote and that are published by Twice 5 Miles Guides, the stuff nobody teaches you. The first one is how to edit and be edited. So that is all about taking your raw material and bringing it to a more finished, polished state, how to give other writers feedback on what they've written, and how to ask for feedback yourself that will energize you and help you and motivate you rather than make you feel sort of dispirited. And then the last one is How to Read for an Audience.
And How to Read for an Audience is a book that I wrote, inspired by a few of my poet reading in public friends who wanted to feel more comfortable standing in front of a group of people and reading their work. So I wrote this little book. I've had lots of experience reading in public, and I realized I had quite a bit to say, and I wrote everything down. And then Allegra came along and she said, well, I have a little bit more to say about that because I've been on book tour. So she added her book tour side to How to Read for an Audience. So that little book is a wonderful book, and when we do the workshop on how to read for an audience, you will get a chance to figure out where your voice is and how you can be yourself on stage reading your material. If you have a shy voice, then we encourage you to read in your shy voice. If you're loud and you like to be a bit boisterous, then we say, hey, go for that too.
The theory behind it, or perhaps not theory, but the goal of it certainly is, as we say, to convert listeners into fans. And I'm just going to tell you a quick little anecdote because when I wrote my memoir, Love Child, and I was going to go out on book tour, I thought I was a pretty good reader for an audience. And I read the opening to Nave. I was like, no, I'm sorry, that is just not good enough. You're not connected. Everybody's going to be bored. And he was, of course, right. And he gave me some training. I do believe that the world would be a better place for all writers if most writers got that kind of training. So it's a fun thing to do. But anyway, this is the anecdote I was going to say. After my memoir, I then wrote a novel, which is now in paperback, called A Stolen Summer. And I was doing a bookshop reading in Albuquerque. Did I tell you this story?
I don't think so.
I was doing a bookshop reading.
I'll be listening as well. I've not heard this one before.
At Bookworks in Albuquerque, which is a really nice, really good independent bookstore on the west side. And I don't know, there were 12 or 15 people probably. And I was reading, and a woman came in to buy a book, and I sort of saw her there, and I, carried on with my reading, and I saw her kind of looking at me and kind of stopping. And she had come in really quickly. She obviously was on a sort of short errand, but she stayed. And not only did she buy my book, which was in hardback then, so it was like a $25 or $30 purchase, she bought 2 copies. She bought one for herself and one for her sister. This was just a casual passerby, and is obviously one of my absolute best results for reading for an audience, but I do think it's quite extraordinary, and I know that could never have happened without your training. I have you to thank for that. So I am the poster child for this technique, and you see, there's just an example of one day when it worked great.
And an example of something you will learn when you read the book or take the workshop. You will quickly realize how close you are to your authentic voice. Your authentic voice is there. You use it every day. It belongs to you. It's one of the few things people will recognize throughout your entire life, no matter what age you are. Your voice remains who you are, and it remains an identifying factor no matter who hears it. So when you speak it from
an authentic place.
Well, when you speak it, it naturally comes from an authentic place. You don't have to try to find that. Now, when it sounds a little off is when you're trying to do like somebody else does, read like someone else. But when you're just doing your own thing, people appreciate it, because what you're actually saying to folks and demonstrating, you're saying to them, I'm myself and you can be yourself too. And when we do that together, we're hitting a tone, almost a third tone between us.
Creating an intimacy.
It's an intimacy. And you may have heard this before, but I'll say it again. Intimacy is into me see. And when you let someone see a little bit into you, they appreciate it because, funny enough, your invitation allows you to reflect back the best of who they are while you're giving them the best of who you are. So those are some of the things you'll learn when you read the book or when you go on stage and you practice it on your own.
Yeah, reading for an audience is more than just opening a book and
Yeah,
vocalizing the words.
It really is.
And it's not hard, but it's just, again, it's the stuff nobody teaches you, which is why we called our series that. There's one other book in the series, which I will just mention very briefly in case you happen to be in a position where you might be needing to make a speech. We also have How to Make a Speech, which we didn't write. It's written by Barry Barton, who's a very highly thought of speech-making coach in Asheville, North Carolina, and the director of TEDx Asheville. So you might want to check that out too. You will find the link to those books all at imaginativestorm.com.
And one final thing. All of our book covers have little dragonflies doing interesting things. They're kind of faint at first, but once you notice them, you will never miss them again.
I appreciate them. Check them out.
And so we appreciate you listening. Thanks for tuning in and hope to see you again sometime soon. And until then, we'll catch you somewhere down the line.
Thank you. Goodbye.